BBC News with Eileen McHugh. Israel says its forces have cut Gaza in two after its ground offensive against Hamas reached the Mediterranean coast in the Palestinian territory. A military spokesman said Gaza City was now completely encircled. There have been intense airstrikes and huge explosions in the north. Phone and internet services have again been cut. Lebanon says 3 children and their grandmother were killed by an Israeli military strike on a car near the border. The Israeli military said it had targeted a car identified as a suspected militant transport. Hezbollah said it had fired multiple rockets at northern Israel in retaliation. The US Secretary of State has visited Iraq in the latest stop on his whirlwind Middle East tour. Antony Blinken said he discussed efforts to prevent the Gaza conflict spreading with the Iraqi Prime Minister. Mr. Blinken has now arrived in Turkey. The French Interior Minister has said his country has recorded more than 1,000 anti-Semitic acts since the deadly attack on Israelis by Hamas 4 weeks ago. Gérald Darmanin told French television that acts against Jews had, in his words, exploded. Nearly 500 people have been arrested. A former leader of the MS-13 transnational criminal gang in Honduras has been sentenced to 15 years in jail in neighbouring Nicaragua. Earlier this year, David Elias Campbell Licona was sanctioned by the United States, where he faces charges of drug trafficking, money laundering and murder. German police say a gunman who took his 4-year-old daughter hostage, forcing the suspension of flights at Hamburg airport, gave himself up without resistance. The Turkish man had demanded to be allowed on board a plane after a custody dispute. And Spanish authorities say nearly 32,000 migrants have reached the Canary Islands by sea from West Africa this year, the highest number in 17 years. BBC News.